Time didn't permit us giving you a complete showing, as we have a full program of music ahead. Most of you have a copy of the DVD, and you'll be able to enjoy it to its fullest on another occasion. Now, don't be disappointed if you don't have a copy. We still have a good supply. The Meet Me at the Brant DVDs are available at the table at the side of the hall for anyone who wishes to purchase a copy. Now, I've just been informed that we have someone with us tonight that we all have high regard for and a great deal of respect. I want to welcome our past Lieutenant Governor Lincoln Alexander. We're so pleased that you have joined us this evening. It is the music of those days that stirs those lovely memories of the Brant Inn. That's why we want to launch our documentary with the accompaniment of that great big band music. As I have said, it's my friends Jim Phillips and Harry Waller who made this concert possible. Harry played at the Brant Inn with many local bands, primarily the Gav Morton Orchestra, before he formed his own band, which performed frequently at the Brant Inn. To many, Harry Waller's name is synonymous with the Brant Inn. Since those days, the Harry Waller's Band has given countless concerts over many years, keeping that great big band music alive for all who continue to love it. We thank you, Harry, for helping to make this evening such an enjoyable occasion. Jim Phillip will be introducing the band members to you, but before he does, a few words about Jim. Jim Phillip began his professional musical career at age 15, playing at the Brant Inn. Jim is a musician's musician. He is widely known in musical circles for his virtuosity as a trumpet player. He was a regular with Harry Waller's band and played often with many other famous bands, such as the Spitfire Band and Mark Kenny's band. Jim has played for many years at Hamilton Place. He's led a number of his own bands. Among them was the Tiger Cat Band, and for many years as an officer he conducted the RCAF band that traveled widely. It's my really great pleasure to introduce Jim Phillip.
Trip to the washroom. I do that a lot these days.
Well, thank you, Ken. That was very nice what he said. You know, the Harry Waller Band was the last big band that played steady at the Brant Inn from about 61 to 64 or something like that. And I didn't play in it steady, but I started out in Gav Morton's band. And Gav Morton's wife, Donna, is here today.
Good.
Donna. I'm getting older now too. I was 15 in that band. And all the guys in the band were in their 20s. So today, I'm in my 70s and they're all in their 80s. So the thing that I tried to do was to get as many guys in this band tonight that played at the Brant Inn. And I have about 5 or 6. But I called several of the guys that are still playing, but they had difficulty playing. They didn't think they could read the music anymore, and they couldn't see the music. That was the problem. And then of course Harry wasn't feeling that well, and I felt sorry. I played with Harry at Hamilton Place and all the dances and whatnot he's done since 1951. I met Harry. Harry Waller played with Paul Page in 1947 at the Brant Inn. Then he played with the Morton Brown Band in 1950, and then it changed to the Gav Morton Band, and that's when I started in 51, and I was there for about 6 years with Gav. And then I was off and on after that. I moved to Hamilton and I formed my own band, so I I had my own band playing around the Connaught and different places in Hamilton. And whenever Gareth needed a sub, one of the trumpet players, Tommy Waller, Harry's brother, he was on the road a lot and he couldn't make every job. So I played there about once a month in his place. And whenever they brought in any named people, they needed 4 trumpets. And so I was added. So I never felt that I ever left the band because there was 3 trumpet players there and they all took nights off, and so I took their place. And that went on for several years, and it went on with the Ron Wicked band, it went on with the Don Sabaya band, and it went on with the Harry Waller band when Harry was there from 62 till about 64. And he was the last big band that played there. So I got these guys together tonight, and every one of them has played in the Harry Waller band since. I mean, Harry's had a band for 50 years, so some of them were too young to play at the Brant Inn. But I do have, I think there's 5 guys that did play at the Brant Inn. And and we filled in with other great musicians. So I'd like to have the band come up now, and as we go along, I'll introduce some of them. CHML and the Dominion Network present the music of Gad Morton and his orchestra and the song stylings of Don Kerr. So let's dance. That was done in 1947, and the announcer on that particular program was Bill McVie. When I started in 51, the regular announcer was, no. This is what happens when you get over 70, you know. Darrell Wells. And Darrell was doing that continually every week, but in the winter sometimes he'd go to Florida. And CHML would send out other guys, such as Norm Marshall, who I'm very sad has been buried today. I had a coffee with him 2 months ago in the mall, and he seemed to be quite well. And then sometimes it would be Paul Hanover, and other times it would be Gordon Pat. Paul, good to see you again. And so that was the opening. Now we'll go into the first song. One, two, 1, 2, 3. was such a great singer. And if you remember when the bridge was knocked down, Don Kerr, well, I'm in the Stu's book, I might have said this in Stu's book, or I might be in the, when the bridge was knocked down, Don Kerr lived in Stony Creek, and he used to drive across the beach strip. Then the bridge was knocked down, so Don worked for the railway, so he got permission to walk across the railway bridge. And Dad Bolton used to drive to the railway bridge every night before we played and pick Don up and drive him back, and he'd leave his car on the other side. So that's a little story that it might be in the book, I'm not sure. I'll introduce the trumpet section then. On first trumpet, who was taking my place. Great trumpet player, Andy Gravitas from Oakville. And you might see him around here. He plays in the 907 band, or 905 band. 905 band here in Burlington. And he has played with, yeah, he just came home from on tour with Wayne Newton. So you know, we do have a lot of talent around here. Yeah. And the next trumpet player, he goes back to 1971 also. He was one of the boys that came up when he was 14 or 15 to Mohawk College. And him and Darcy started out together. And then Ron moved to Toronto and played in all the Toronto bands, played with Eddie Graff and whatnot. And he still kept touch with Darcy, because I phoned Darcy in Brooklyn one day, and Ron answered the phone. Now the next trombone player is John Bevington, and John has played around Hamilton most of his life. His father was a Hamilton musician, and John has played with Harry. He was too young to play at the Brant Inn, but he plays with Harry since the 70s, and he used to play shows at Talent Place with me, didn't you? I think it was the
strip club.
Yeah. And so we still have John with us, and so John Bennington. Now we come to the next guy. I went to Central with him, Central Tech on Rutler Street, when we played the George Hausleiter School Orchestra in 1952, I guess. I was playing the Brant Inn at night, so playing in the school orchestra during the daytime. And Neil was playing trombone. And he played around Hamilton. He's been with Harry for 70 years, or it's not 70. Since the 70s, I'm sorry. 30 years. And he's played in Dixieland bands. You've probably seen him with Harold and Merrill and different bands like that around. And he's also a good arranger. Half of the music that Harry plays is Neil's arrangement, and that arrangement of Set and Doll was Neil's. Congratulations. Okay, I'll leave it at that now. I'll get the rhythm section later. going to play, I would like to introduce the saxophone section first. Down at the end there, we have Don Winfield. Don started out at Hamilton, he went to McMaster, and then he played with the Don Savire Band at the Brant Inn for a month in 1956. We played there for the summer, and I was in the band. And Rick Wilkins, also of Hamilton, the big name Rick, he was in that band also. Anyway, Don is back. He went to Vancouver. He was a bank manager there, and then he's come back. And he's very busy now. He's playing in Burlington with Sophisticated Swing, and also with Herb Hellman's band, White Oaks big band. Don. The next saxophone player is Alan Eady. Alan Eady went to McMaster also, and he was a teacher at Nelson High School for many years before he retired. He also was the bandmaster of the Hamilton Concert Band for several years. And he's also played with Harry Waller since the 70s, so with Harry for a long time. So we're glad that Alan could come. Now the next player is very significant to me. In 1971, I was teaching a jazz course at Mohawk College when it first opened. And there were some young kids there. They were only 15 or 16 years old. And the next guy was one of them. And he was learning to play saxophone. But I had already played with him before that with the Hamilton Theater Company shows. In Hamilton, he was playing cello. Then he switched to saxophone, and he became a great player. And all the time we were in Hamilton, he was playing in different bands. And then he went to the University of Miami. And he came back and in the summer and played with Harry Waller's band in different places. And then I became contractor in Hamilton Place for all the shows and nightclub act and things like that, of that nature. And I would call Darcy, and he was in Miami, and he'd take that $99 flight home on the weekends, and he'd come back and play for a week in Hamilton Place, and then take the next $95 flight back to Miami. And we had him back. He played the Tom Jones show, several big name shows that we played there that year. Then I lost track of Darcy, and I found out he was playing in the Artie Shaw Band. He was touring the United States for a few years with Artie Shaw. Then he went to the Berklee School of Music in Boston, and he was a teacher there. He taught arranging and playing at Berklee, I think, for 5 or 6 years. Then I lost track of him again, and he was in New York City. He was playing all the Broadway shows. He subbed in the shows. He was that great that he subbed in Broadway shows. He played with all the name bands. And the next time I saw him, he was with Blood, Sweat, and Tears on tour. And Darcy toured with Blood, Sweat, and Tears. How many years? For 5 years. 2 or 3 years ago, Harry Wall and I gave him a call. He was in Brooklyn. Gave him a call. He was coming to Hamilton to do a concert in Gage Park. So we took him out to dinner because he was here visiting. And he said he'd like to move back to Hamilton. That he got married and he had a child. And he didn't like Brooklyn and New York anymore. He wanted to have a life like he had when he grew up here. And so the next thing I know, he's back in Hamilton, and he's teaching at Mohawk College. He teaches arranging and whatnot there. Now, the surprising thing about this is his father was a composer, the conductor in the 60s and 70s of the Hamilton Philharmonic, Lee Hepner. You remember that name? And also his mother, Pat Hepner, she started the jazz program at Mohawk College around 1971 or 72. She's the one that hired me to go up there for that summer that I was there. And so I've known Darcy all that long. And those of you who don't know it, He's got the best band around that I've ever heard. He's formed a band here now. And they play at the Corktown on Wednesday nights, the first Wednesday of each month.
Actually, this is coming Wednesday.
Yeah, and they're playing there this Wednesday. And it's a jazz band. So if you like jazz, then you will enjoy that. And my friend Lincoln and I, we both go. Yeah. So anyway, his name is Darcy Hebner. He is the one that's taken Harry Waller's place tonight. So we're really proud of that. Now, the next tenor sax player is Terry Basin. And Terry is from Joplin, Missouri. He came up to Canada and liked it here. He toured with a military band in the United States. He liked Canada. And he's been teaching at Mohawk College for about 30 years, 40 years, yeah. And Terry's played shows with us, Broadway shows at Hamilton Place, the Maurier Center, and this summer, and he's played with Harry Waller ever since the 70s. And this summer, he just finished playing at Stratford. I don't know how he does that at work at Mohawk College and still making 3 hours up to Stratford and do that every night of the week. Anyway, it's Terry Basin. I introduced the saxophone section first because we're going to play a song that was very famous back in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and it was done by Artie Shaw, and this Begin the Beginning.
This is a Sinatra number that one of his many, many hits. The late Frank Sinatra, chairman of the board, Old Blue Eyes.
Okay. Is that okay? Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I've got you under my skin. I have got you deep in the heart of me. So deep in my heart that you're really a part of me. I've got you under my skin. Well, I tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair never will go so well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know so well I've got you under my skin. I would sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near. Spite of the warning voice comes in the night and repeats how it yells in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you never can win. Why not use your mentality? Wake up to reality. I do just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. I've got you under my skin. Okay, full quarter song. These fellas are gonna wail away for you here. Trumpets, trombones, saxophones. Run it hard, fellas. Here we go. Seeing that it's Remembrance Day tomorrow, and I tried to give out as many of those little badges from Veterans Affairs. I do have some more for those who didn't get them. I thought I'd sing a couple of war songs, and there's plenty of war songs, especially from the Second World War. My dad was in the First World War, in the Horse Artillery. Anyway, here's the tune. And I haven't sung it before, by the way, so I'm relying on some words with me. I'll be singing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. leave, I hope, James, that among your stories, as you told it to the Historical Society of Burlington a few years ago, the time you were, of course, playing in the house band at the Brant Inn, I'm not sure if it was with Gavin Morton or Harry Waller, but anyway, when Liberace performed and what happened.
Oh.
And something to do with the train.
The train was...
Yeah, tell them that one.
one.
Yeah, go ahead.
We were playing the Liberace show, and the engineer on the train that went by knew that it was coming. We had it planned so that the show wouldn't be on when that train went by every night at 10, quarter after 10 or whenever. But he went by at that time, and I think he did it on purpose, and he honked his horn all the way. And Liberace quit playing, and he says, "That was a long mother, wasn't it?" I don't know if that's in the... Anyway, the Glenn Miller Band was so popular back in those days. We're going to play one that you all know. I want to sing, sing, sing. know something? I came down here at 4:30 this afternoon to set up the stands, and Russ came to set up his drums. Then we went to eat. Instead of going by car, we walked all the way up to Brant Street to a restaurant. Just about killed me, but Russ was anxious to go. But it's nice to have a guy that he makes us all feel young, really. Now I think we have time for what? One more? One more thing?
What a way to launch our DVD, Meet Me at the Brant. Well, I want to thank Jim, and certainly I wish Harry were here tonight, his brother Tom, but I do thank you so much for organizing this concert. And of course, thank all the fine musicians. Thank you. Carrying out tonight's program requires many helping hands, and I'm just going to quickly ask Rick Borthwick to come forward again to thank those members who helped out in important ways.
May I have your attention just for another moment? This evening could not have been the success it has been unless we had the cooperation of a full team. I would like to take this opportunity to thank them for everything that they have done for us tonight. Please withhold your appreciation until we have finished the words. First, for the production of tonight's tickets, we want to thank Jane Ann Newsom. She also participated in the early planning sessions for tonight's DVD. Secondly, for the distribution and sale of tonight's tickets, we thank Iris Davey. Third, for those at the ticket tables in October and again tonight, we thank Kay Ruddy, Marguerite Godding, Morgan Copley, Barbara Borthwick, and a second thank you to Iris and Jane Ann. Fourth, our DVD sales team of Peggy Armstrong and Ann Wingfield are giving thanks, and they will be available for further purchases as you please. From our VHS executive, we have many who have been involved in various ways in making tonight a success. Noreen McNairn, Judy McNairn, Ryan Ryder, Les Armstrong, Dave Boris, and Dave Davidson. We thank them all. But the whole event, our book, our DVD, would not have been possible without the leadership of Ken Davey. He is to receive the greatest thanks of this Historical Society for all he's done. John and I would have been nothing without Ken's leadership. He was the mastermind, we were his acolytes. And Iris can collaborate and tell you what an effort this has been. It has not been easy, believe me. And the $15 selling price is a pittance to pay for the quality. I'd like to add one more sentence about Ken. Ken masterminded this whole evening.